Hi class, I'm so glad you're all here today. We're going to learn about something super exciting. We're learning about the United States Judicial System.
That sounds so boring, Miss Ozzy. So lame.
Well class, I hope that when we're done you guys will find this as exciting as I do. Let's just start by telling you a little bit about it. The United States Judicial System is one of 3 branches of the government and is designed to uphold the laws enacted by the legislative branch and enforced by the executive branch.
How does the judicial system work? I'm totally confused.
I am so glad you guys asked. The judicial system is made up of many court systems, a federal system, and 50 state systems, and each state system has its own structures and procedures.
Miss Ozzy, what does the Montana court system look like?
That is a great question. Well, the Montana courts are set up so that you start at a trial court. And the trial courts in the state of Montana are known as district, limited jurisdiction, and specialized courts.
What are trial courts, Miss Ozzy? Yeah, we need to know.
Trial courts are also known as initial courts sometimes. They're the only courts that hold trials where a verdict is reached. All other courts review the decisions and procedures of trial courts. So, it's the only court that you can be found guilty or not guilty.
What happens if I'm found guilty or not guilty?
Well, once a verdict has been reached, you have the opportunity to make an appeal if you're not happy with the decision or the way that the proceedings happened. So let's look at our flow chart. If you look at the flow chart, our judicial system starts with our trial courts. Again, in the state of Montana, those are the district, limited jurisdiction, and specialized courts. If you are not happy with the decision or the verdict made in one of those courts, you can go to an appellate court where you can make an appeal. If you're not happy with that decision, you can then go to a state supreme court. From there, you can go to a circuit court. And finally, as a last resort, you could go to the U.S. Supreme Court.
You mean appellate? What's an appellate court? And did you say a circus court, Miss Ozzy?
No, silly, you guys make me laugh. I didn't say circus court. I said circuit court. The circuit court is a court that you can go to after you've been to the state Supreme Court. If you're still unhappy with its decision, you can have one of these circuit courts review your case. The circuit court is also known as a regional court. There are 13 regional courts throughout the United States, and Montana is in the 9th Circuit.
Miss Ozzy, you need to shut him up. Yeah, we're trying to learn here, duh.
Class, now settle down. I know this is super exciting stuff, so just hold your britches on and we'll get to the rest. Now, class, if your case has been reviewed at the circuit level and it's found that it should be reviewed again at the next level, it would go to the United States Supreme Court, the final step in the appeal process.
Will you remind me, Miss Ozzy, how many steps there are before the Supreme Court? Yeah, and, Miss Ozzy, what is the Supreme Court?
That's a super great question. You guys are just loaded with those. Alright, let's look at how many steps it does take. Let's look again at our flow chart. If we look at the top, you start at a trial court. And in the state of Montana, you can either be appointed to a district, a limited jurisdiction, or a specialized court, depending on the type of trial that you will be in. After that, if you would like to make an appeal, you go to an appellate court, or appellate. After that, you can make an appeal to the state Supreme Court. After that, you make an appeal to the Circuit Court. And after that, you find your final step at the U.S. Supreme Court. So let's count those out. 1, 2, 3, 4. The U.S. Supreme Court is the 5th step. And let's just take a minute to look at what the Supreme Court does and how it's composed. The Supreme Court is made up of 9 justices. They are appointed by the President and approved by the Senate. These judges rule whether or not your trial has been constitutional or unconstitutional.
Miss Wazzy, when is lunch? I go to the bathroom.
Jay, on a side note, don't tell Miss Wazzy, but this class was actually kind of fun. I actually like history now. I know, we learned a ton.
Now. And let's just take a minute to look at what the Supreme Court does and how it's composed. The Supreme Court is made up of 9 justices. They are all appointed by the President, and...
Come on, teacher.
So in the Supreme Court, there are 9 justices. They are elected by the President and approved by the Senate.
Appointed by the President.
What did I say?
Elected.
So again, they are appointed by the President and they are approved by the Supreme... No?